Bengals starting off the season 1-0. We'll get into this and much more coming up next on the Wincinnati podcast. Coming up on the Wincinnati podcast.
Hello, world. Cincinnati. You guys are the Yoshi creators, bro.
It's a new beginning. You know what that means, right?
But I know this, the whole NFL is scared of the Bengals.
Welcome to a 1-0 edition of the Wincinnati podcast. What did they say? One, W-O-N-N-O. This is a post-game live from me, myself, Ace, my partner, Zim. Zim, how you doing today, bro? Doing good?
I'm feeling good. I'm feeling like a freaking Hellcat. All right. I made a shirt. People was like, what does the Hellcat mean? It means I'm bringing hell. I don't give a shit what the score looking like. I'm a Hellcat. All I know is go. All I know is go, brother. That's all I know. They talking like, but he didn't look like this. He didn't look like that. But I look like I got a dub. I'm a Hellcat. I hit the gas. Hit the gas on them bums. Then we hit on the plane. We drinking martinis and champagne and shit on our flight home. Them boys out there sad as hell. Talking about something. Well, if we would have hit her, we would have. Ain't nobody do that for me last year. Nobody did that for me on 4th and 16. I seen the Steelers just now. If they got the highest paid defense in the National Football League, got 32 dropped on him. You think they ain't no boys gonna come online today and say, oh my God, bro, we didn't look like we were supposed to. They gonna tell you the dub, they gonna tell you Tomlin is him, we're gonna get a ring, all that. So I'm acting accordingly and I'm acting the ass. I'm a Hellcat.
Yeah, I'm with you, bro. Like, I honestly, like, there's no context to 1-0. The Bengals are 1-0. This whole offseason, we had to hear it. The Bengals start off slow. Zach Taylor is 1-11 in the last his first week games. All of that is over, bro. They are 1-0. Playing in the preseason paid off. But the craziest thing to me was a lot of talk this offseason was, oh, the Bengals defense is the worst in the league. Oh, they're not going to be able to do anything because of the defense. The offense is going to have to carry. They're going to have to score 40 points a game because their defense is that garbage. The defense stepped up in this game, bro. Dare I say the defense? I'm not even going to say dare I say. The defense and special teams won them this game. Like, for so many people talking about, and I saw some tweets out there like, oh, Lou Anarumo was pitching a masterclass. When I look at the way that this game happened, it looked like a Lou Anarumo game. You know why? Everybody's like, oh, they gave up 300 yards. We don't care about yards. We care about points, and we care about turnovers. And in this game, the Bengals were able to hold their opponent to under 17 points, and they were able to force 2 turnovers when the Bengals needed them. Those were very instrumental in sealing this game, where most people coming into the season expected the Bengals to rely heavily on their offense. Now, we can have a conversation about the offense and their struggles, but right now, at the end of the day, the offense struggled last year in the New England game. You know what the difference was? They lost the game, and that's what I'm talking about right now. Like, there is no context. There is no excuse for when it comes to playoff berth time. This is not going to be a loss or a game that haunts the Bengals. This is going to be a game that haunts the Browns. Like, this isn't going to be a situation where the Bengals are looking back and being like, should have beat the Browns by more than one, and we like, nobody like, what?
Hey, bro, the disconnect with. Hey, look at my shirt. Shout out to my boys at LFG. Who they versus everybody. Hey, listen. The disconnect between, y'all got to pay attention to these internet people.
Post movers. Yeah.
Bro, you're a keyboard. Like, if you on here talking analytics and all that, like, I'm all with that. I'll cook whoever in any department you want to talk. Y'all want to talk 4x1 for nations? We could talk about what you did in Inside Zone. I could give it to you any way you want. But at the end of the day, the one thing that Mr. Internet Analytic, I got on thicker glasses than everybody else in the world. Like, the one thing that you can't talk to me about is a dub. And at the end of the day, that whole, like, how do you look winning and stuff is so freaking weak. And I'm going to tell you why it's weak. The Chiefs literally went a whole season in 2024, a whole season. Go look at all the games they squeaked out. a whole season. They beat us on a game that we lost on 4th and 16, right? Offensively, we gave them 7 on a fumble punt. They ran it back and everything like that. They did nothing. They scored 1 touchdown offensively, and it had a couple field goals, right? If you remember that game. And nobody after the game ever came back as a Chief fan and said, bro, we didn't deserve to win that. Bengals fans, y'all got to wake up. That's why y'all got to rock with us. I'm telling you right now. If you're listening to the wrong people trying to tell you that you shouldn't be celebrating currently right now, a dub, then they're on some other stuff. They got their own issues where they're trying to figure out how they don't want it to hurt later on or something if they get their hopes up and shit. I'm a Hellcat. I'm really living like that. I don't really care about none of that. I'm living every day like it's my last. I'm a Bengal. I'm part of a chosen few. And if you ain't a part of a chosen few that has decided I'm going to be a Bengal fan, then you don't know about this life. This is a different life. This is Carson Palmer's leg. This is Andy Dalton's finger. This is AJ Green's ankle. I'm living that. And if you're a Hellcat, if you're on that real like we on, a dub is a dub, bro. Because everybody that came in here and won them weak-ass games on us, and ain't not one person complaining. But that doesn't mean that me and my partner are going to break down how bad we look offensively in this game.
Yeah, we're still going to talk about that. We're not going to ignore it, but it's not going to take precedent in a game that this whole offseason we had to hear about the Bengals having a slow start. It's just like when we talk about context, do you think Browns fans are going to get on here and be like, yeah, 3 sacks against the Bengals offensive line? I could come on and be like, hey, you know what? That was on one drive, but like, who cares? Did you get 3 sacks or did you not? Are you 1-0 or are you not? Like, that's what, at the end of the day, that's what matters. We can talk about that the offense struggled in this one, right? And that's fair. The context of that is it's also still week 1, but my thing is this. If you want to argue about stats, whether you shut down Jamar Chase, whether you shut down T. Higgins, I don't care. I'm 1-0. You're 0-1. You got way more stuff to worry about than going 0-2 next week. And I'm looking at going 2-0 next week. More importantly, I'm 1-0 in the division. That's a game and a half lead on everybody. Even though the Steelers got their dub today, guess what? We're still number 1 over them. Even if the Ravens get their win tonight, which I don't know if they are. We'll see. Time will tell. Even if they do, guess who's still number 1 tonight? We're still number 1 tonight. So that's the only context that matters to me. This is a team that historically
on the road
to win these games. They got into one of these games. They only had 17, I believe, yards in the second half or something crazy like that. And they find a way to win this game. I talked about it with Zim before. Jordan Battle, huge game from him, right? Like, is there context that Von Bell was starting over him last year? Like, do we really want to do that? Like, context is the worst word of 2025 right now. Like, I don't want to hear about that anymore. But going through the defense as well, DJ Turner, man, like, bro, you know, I've been up and down with DJ Turner. I've been a Turner supporter, and I'm like, man, it hasn't looked good lately. What a turn of events for this man to have a game-sealing interception when we needed it. There's been so much talk about DJ Turner. He's always in position, but he's not making the plays. Guess what? He makes the play in this situation. He goes out there and does his thing. I mean, you look at some of the other things. A lot of people are going to talk about, oh, well, you know, the Browns offense looked good. Well, Dylan Sampson ran for 2.3 yards per carry. How good was that? Jerry Jeudy was held under 100 yards.
They feel like the offense was good. Who said the Browns offense was good?
Dylan Sampson, eight catches for 65 yards. You think that's good?
Hey, look. Before I go on how the Bengals offense was like bad, right? Let's just recap. Yeah. Let's start first half. Let's just rewind this. The first series that we had, we go down, we score 7 points. Boom, Hellcats. All right, right after that, Browns get the ball, right? They get walked down the field with 3 penalties that are super questionable. All of them. They get 7 points off of that. They should have never even been in. They should have never even been in that part of the game. Like, we shouldn't even have been in no 14, 16, none of that early in the game. They walked them boys right down the field. We call on DJ Turner at a minimum. That should have been a field goal on the drive. They get 7, whatever. We come back, we score again. They come back, and my timeline's a little off. But right now, at that point, though, the Bengals defense was playing pretty decent in the first half. In the offensively, I thought Zach Taylor called a pretty good game in the first half. You start off with Noah Fant, you show a little bit of that, you show a little bit of honey over there in the kitchen pot, and then you play action of that. You give them that. You started off like how I was saying. I was like, bro, people going to game plan for the Bengals wide receivers. The tight ends are going to be there. Noah Fant is going to have a role on this team. Right. Then you give Jamar Chase an option route. We're gonna come back to that later because I wish they would have did that in the second half. Simple passes, option route, Jamar Chase, T. Higgins on third down. Go to your weapons. They did that somewhat in the first half. They look really good. Remember, Bengals almost scored another touchdown. Joe Burrow tries to climb in the pocket, and Myles Garrett walks him down and runs him down on a key third down in like 7. And we could have had points on the board then. We end up on the Browns like 40-something yards. So 3 drives, we moving the ball or whatever, and then we have to punt right there on that third one. The crazy thing is, y'all know that the Bengals only had the ball for like 10 minutes, like in the whole first half, and they scored a bunch on there. The defense in the first drive, whatever did what they had to do. First half of the football game, I wasn't concerned at all. I thought that they played well. The run defense was well. The game reminded me a little bit of Mike White, a lot of check downs and a lot of swing passes, something that the Bengals should have did in the second half of the football game, but they made it super easy on Joe Flacco. Did you have any thoughts in the first half of the football game?
No, I mean, I think like you said, like a lot of it really wasn't the defense playing bad. It was a lot of them being bailed out by refs and things of that nature. I never at one point thought like, oh man, in the first half, like the Bengals are in trouble. You know, they came out the first drive, went down and got a touchdown. Browns get the help from the referee, like you said. Bengals come back down, get another touchdown. Noah Fant being involved early. He ends up scoring. Chase Brown is looking good at that point, right? So, like, I think you're thinking, all right, the Bengals are starting to get this stew boiling, and they're going to start to add the ingredients of Jamar Chase and T. Higgins in the second half. So, right. I think you're pretty calm.
At that point, Chase Brown is running for 4.6 yards to carry at that point, and it was looking on fire. He's on my fantasy league. He had like 40-something yards rushing, 20-something yards catching. Like in the first half, it looked like, okay, we're about to go crazy on him.
Yeah, so when things started to shift in the second half, it was like, okay, that's when I started to be somewhat concerned because it's like, all right, are we going to get Jamar and T involved here? Like 5 targets for them. I don't know if that's enough in a game, like especially as a passing offense. Like you definitely want to attack them more. I was worried about some of the decision making by Zach Taylor, like especially when we talk about at the end of the game where he doesn't go for it. And I understand, like you're on your own 20, and you don't have the foresight of an interception happening later, right? So a lot of people, I was in your lives, and everybody was yelling for the Harry Nuts decision to be made because it's like, all right, let's be aggressive here and try to make sure that we go for the dub. So, you know, the punt in that situation was a little Marvin Lewis-y, I think, at the time. But shout out to Zach for proving me wrong because it's like, all right, yeah, I am going to put my defense in this situation. And I do trust my defense more than you guys think. I do trust my defense more than the national media thinks. And lo and behold, him doing that helped the Bengals win. So I was worried about the way that the offense looked. It was definitely anemic. You know, a lot of punts. The run game looked very bad. There was that drive where Cleveland just had 3 straight sacks. I was like, come on, bro. Like the defense was making plays to help the offense out because I think about the Jordan Battle interception, right? Like the Bengals just only got really like a field goal from that. Like they really weren't. The offense really didn't do the defense any favors, I feel like, in this.
Absolutely.
Whereas special teams and the defense was able to hold it down for the team. And like for me, like a different perspective of this is, yes, the offense needs to play better. I don't expect them to go out next week and Joe Burrow's only going to throw for 100 yards. Like I'd be crazy to tell you Joe Burrow's going to have 100 yards next week. This offense is only going to have, you know, Jamar Chase is going to have 30 yards. T. Higgins is going to have, like that's not happening, bro. Like, but if you tell me that this defense can rise to the occasion while the offense is getting its for lack of a better word, together, now you're in trouble because the whole outlook coming into the season is this is an offensive team. We're not even talking about special teams because you got to think about last year. They didn't get anything from special teams. Special teams negatively affected them last year with long snappers, missed field goals against the Ravens. But we're not talking about contact. We're like we didn't have the aid of that now. Now, if you're telling me based off of week 1, this could be something that this team has. Oh yeah, you're in trouble. Like you're really in trouble for real now. Like if Burrow and the boys have help, like you're in trouble.
Yeah, I'm gonna tell you. I'm gonna tell you a couple of different observations, and I'm gonna look. And I know, and I hope a Browns fan is watching this. I don't think that Joe Flacco is gonna have that level of success passing the ball against more proficient teams that are probably not used. You know what I'm saying? Like that was a familiar opponent. So Stefanski pushed all the right buttons and challenged the linebackers in space. He gave them the swing passes and stuff like that. But anytime that Flacco had to push the ball, like in the second half, he did it. In the third quarter, he was executing some of those third downs early, and I was like, oh my God, they keep on killing us on third down. I don't think that he can consistently do that for a whole football season. I think that their season is going to be a mess. I also think that the Bengals offense did everything to favor everything that the Browns want you to do. They want you to throw to the matchups that favor them, like Denzel Ward. So when you were talking about Zach Taylor with the play calling and the decision making, I questioned Joe in a couple of those instances. Here we go again, right? It was very, very similar to the Patriots game last year. Things didn't go our way. Joe has a chance to close them out, get them up out of there. He doesn't do it. He fails to do so, right? The thing that I thought, though, on some of those throws, especially the Gesicki third down throw, why are you throwing it in between 3 people and Denzel Ward is on him? He tried to squeeze that throw in there. I didn't like that one. The back shoulder third down, I think, on Newsome, I liked them going at Newsome. I thought that they should have went at Newsome like 8-10 times. He never turned his head around on any of them passes. But to take that throw on 3rd and 2, launching it 30 yards down the field, it reminded me of like them games, like what was that, the Eagles game or something last year, where he like went for it on like goes for the juggler. It's like 3rd and 1. He's like, or 4th down, he's throwing bombs down the field. I like the hairy nuts, like, you know, mind frame to say I'm gonna go do that. But for a team like that, you could kill them. Teams that don't really have like the mental fortitude to take on, like, you know what I'm saying, because they have a losing history or whatever like that, you got to slowly kill them, just like they were slowly killing us on 3rd down and taking time of possession. You don't have to throw those deep shots and do that stuff to try to like go and put the knife in them right there. Like, we ain't looking for Sports Center. In 2022, the Bengals got out on people, they held leads, and they let their defense just go ahead and take over after that. The Bengals got to get to that. I don't need the scores to be 40-something to nothing. I think that they should be 40-something to whatever, right? Because I got a really good offense, and I ain't worried about them. They're going to figure it out. But I do think that the Bengals left them off the hook for a lot of the stuff. And the one thing that I keep on coming back to is the same thing I've come back to for years. Me and you know this as far as like the feel for a game. And one thing that remind me of like us coaching, like, you know, little league basketball and stuff like that. I wanted to ask you this. You ever had a scenario where you trusted the player to do something, or you felt as though they could handle it, and you let a couple possessions go by before you know it, and then you look in the aftermath of the game, you're like, damn, maybe I should have called timeout and kind of help them and kind of help them out or guide them, especially since we're coaching like younger kids and stuff.
Yeah.
You got to guide them in some of those spots. So it's a fine line. Sometimes you'll say, don't take the ball out of Joe Burrow's hands, right? I'm all for that. But after the Myles Garrett 2 sacks in that series, that's where Zach Taylor, in the moment, he probably was like, well, it's Joe Burrow. He's going to do his thing. The play calling deep drops, even if Burrow were to check or audible into something, you got to call the plays. You got to go into that Jake Browning playbook at that point, because you're feeling the game and understanding that the Browns are starting to get enthusiasm. They start to take advantage of all these situations. Your offensive line is now in retreat mode. Give them some screens. Give them option routes that Jamar Chase had early in the game. Where's Andre Yoshivas? No targets in the whole entire game. Chase Brown, we can't get him a screen. Dump offs, quick stuff. You got Joe Burrow not even looking down the field by the time you get to the end of the game, because Joe Burrow has confidence in himself, and he's like, yeah, I'm going to go and cook. I'm going to do my thing, even after the Myles Garrett thing, right? And then what happens is the reality set in that the offensive line is getting their ass kicked. and he's still calling like deep drops and stuff. And I'm like, bro, the coaching staff needs to take control of this game and give these dudes simple stuff. Jamar Chase in the backfield, hell yeah, throw him a little shovel pass or something right now. Like you're lining it up, you're showing sugar, like you're gonna put it in the Kool-Aid, but you ain't stirring it. You're just letting it sit right there. And I'm sitting there thinking, like, why they doing all of this eye candy stuff? And then they're not actually doing it. And then you're still running. Some of the draw plays that they were running with Chase Brown early in the game, later in the game, I'm like, bro, that's not hitting. They're keying in on that. Now run the counter, ride a counter off of that. Run it. Remember the play early in the game when they had in the red zone? Chase Brown did like a little Barry Sanders cut, and he got like 8 yards off of it inside zone, and he cuts back to the left. Get back to that. They got all the way from that. They're going to deep shotgun, halfback draws when the defensive line is having their way. His play calling in the second half of the game was atrocious. The last series that he had, atrocious. The last series that he had at the end, where Burrow goes, I think 3 and out or whatever, and then they punt on 4th and 1, bro. I'm going for that. I'm going for that. I know the defense would. I'm going for that, bro. I just thought his decision making and his feel for the game reared his head out again. And we're lucky that we won in the Bengals defense, bailed us out, because the Bengals defense in the second half of the game, I do want to highlight, gave them 6 straight stops. So before the game, this is all the people that's crying, all the people that want your cake and your ice cream and all that crap too. I want to have a real talk with you. I'm talking directly to you. It's somebody probably complaining right now in your head saying this guy's an idiot. Before this game came in, I'm talking to you. Before this game started, you, Mr., Mrs., whoever, crybaby at home, I don't care. They gotta win my way. Before the game, you said the Bengals defense was trash. During the first half, you said the Bengals defense was trash as well. Second half of the game, 6 straight stops. If you go one more second without tweeting that shit out right now, or going texting your friend and tell them about how you were wrong about the defense, and the defense actually did damn cook, you got to give credit where it's due if you're really on this side. You can't just disregard that and just skip right over it and be like, oh, no. Like, no, we're going to hold people accountable. Well, I'm not going to hold anybody accountable. I'm just talking. This is a message that I want to send to you. But it just kills me. It grinds my gears how people are so critical on the defense. And see how critical I was on the offense? I thought they sucked in the second half. But at the same time, you got to be real with yourself and understand that, okay, it didn't go the way that I wanted it to go. But how about the defense? I didn't think that the defense would be able to put together 6 stops. I tweeted out, bro, why are you punting the ball? I thought we were cooked. So now I would be an asshole to come back and just disregard that. You got to give credit where it's due. If you're loud on the internet telling that the Bengals defense ain't nothing, they wasn't on the first half, you need to do yourself. Go on Twitter, go on Instagram, go on TikTok or whatever, and be like, the defense cooked. I don't, you know what I mean?
Yeah. No,
like that's the way life goes, bro. Like, to me, if you're honorable, like when we go into this, so to me, it comes off very disingenuous when people now find new complaints. Because before you had a real problem with the defense. Defense shows you what you wanted. Now, the takeaway for me is the Bengals offense was so poor in the second half. I haven't even seen Joe's presser. I bet he was pretty mad at himself. But the one thing we can all agree on, don't we feel really confident in the weapons in the Bengals offense moving forward?
I think so. And I think it's
so,
well,
like,
yeah, go ahead.
No, that was it. That was it.
I was gonna say, so I'm looking here. PFF has already got the grades out for the offensive line. I think the offensive line, I think that one drive made it look like the offensive line was bad. They were atrocious from a run blocking standpoint. So hear me on that. But from a pass blocking standpoint, who do you think? First of all, did you know Dalton Risner played a lot in this game?
Yeah,
sometimes people don't pay attention to the offense.
Oh yeah, Lucas Patrick on the first 2 drives looked good. Actually, I wanted to say that. He goes out, and the run game was fine. As soon as he goes out, it looks a little shaky to me. But Risner plays a lot. How did he score?
Risner was the highest graded pass blocker on PFF. He had an 80.5 pass blocking grade.
Wow.
He gave up 1 pressure, no sacks. Lucas Patrick got a good grade, but he was only in for 16 snaps. So he had a 79.7. Ted Karras.
No two drives was nice. I was looking at him. I was looking at Lucas Patrick.
Yeah, like even Amarius Mims, even though he gave up the 1 sack, he's got a 69 pass blocking grade, gave up 2 pressures in that game.
What was Orlando's grade?
Orlando's pass blocking grade isn't that bad. It's a 64.7.
It should be lower. I thought Myles Garrett was abusing him in the second when he was turning the corner.
Second half,
Now some of the scheme for Burrow's dropbacks, you can allow the edge to go run the arc and take him, and you just run him out, and then Burrow steps out. So maybe he might have an argument to say, well, if he gonna go that wide, I'm gonna just let him go. People do it to Trey all the time. So, but Myles was getting it fast, bro.
Yeah. I mean, that was that same drive where Myles was able to beat him twice. But outside of that, like the offensive line didn't give up a bunch of pressures. Like they gave up 9 total pressures, 2 sacks in this game. Dylan Fairchild actually scored the lowest. He had a 55 on his pass blocking. They charged him with 2 quarterback hits. Okay. So, the offensive line, I think is going to be fine, bro. Like I get it. Like that one drive was horrible, but I feel like to take that one drive, like when we have the stat sacks per drive, their sacks per drive wasn't really great, right? They ended up getting the 3 or whatever, but I think there's a little bit more context. And then when I'm looking at some of the PFF numbers in terms of the offense, now that's where you're starting to see like, man, the offense didn't play good. They had Samaje Perine was the top graded offensive player. He only played 13 snaps, so keep that context in mind. Then they had T. Higgins as the next best. They had Joe after that. Mike Gesicki, but when you go to that defense, bro, the defense, Trey Hendrickson, 1 sack in the game, by the way. BJ Hill with a sack in the game, by the way. Remember last season, the issue was the Bengals defense couldn't get pressure. Trey Hendrickson is your highest graded defensive player. Guess who your second highest graded defensive player is? I just want to see if you guys are going to guess it. Shamar Stewart. Shamar Stewart, your brother.
Zamar. When he playing like that, that's Zamar.
Yeah, Shamar Stewart, then Dax Hill.
Hey, what I tell you about the batted passes, I think hot take. Shamar Stewart is going to finish top 2, not 3, top 2 in batted passes this season. Watch what I tell y'all.
Yeah, I mean, Shamar Stewart with the 80.6, Trey Hendrickson 83.1, Dax Hill 80, BJ Hill 78.7, Jordan Battle 78, Tyson Anderson, even though he came in for a limited amount of time, that was when Geno Stone was in the tent. TJ Slayton 76, Logan Wilson, a lot of people were talking bad about Logan Wilson. He graded pretty well. So can't say this without saying some of the people that didn't grade as well. Cam Taylor-Britt had the lowest grade. 43.
Can I come clean on that? Hey, look, me and Ace, we be having real conversations. All right, this is how you know that we too real for these people. I'm gonna be the first one to tell people that CCB, I said he needed a contract extension, and CCB is the guy that everybody need to watch out for. CCB was dumpster juice out there today. I thought out of all the corners, he showed up like as the mark. I thought they picked on him with Tillman. They picked on him with Judy. They picked on him with tight ends. They went at him all day. He was flat-footed on a bunch of those routes, like sitting on slants. And then Judy is a top 5 route runner in the NFL. He's taking it to the outside, cooking that up. Like, if I'm Judy and Flacco in a huddle, I'm just like going like this. Like, you want to go left? You want to go right? You could do whatever you wanted to CTB in this game. DJ Turner, I got to eat crow on that. That's the one that I say, man, Ace, this is all camera. I say, man, I don't know, bro. He might be a bust. He bust their ass today. He looked like he looked like a real corner. And and we said this before the game. I said this is a real test, not because they're elite wide receivers, but if you can't cook against these boys, then you know what I'm saying? So CTB, I don't know, man. Like, I don't know. The leash is short already. Josh Newton better get his cleats ready, because I'm gonna tell you right now, like, I didn't like that, bro. Like, there's super simple fundamental stuff when he used to be in a back pedal on certain routes or whatever, playing man, and you're just sitting there waiting, sitting on routes like you're a safety or something. Like, I don't know what that was about. Like, his tape, they're going to kill him in the film room. They're going to absolutely destroy him.
Yeah, nah, for sure, man. So Bengals defense, I feel like came out here and did their thing. Offense, as we stated, can do better next week. Well, was there anything else that you wanted to touch on, brother?
Pause. I wanted to say, jeez, that's how a win feels good. I want to say this. I want to ask you a question. Do you think at the end of the season, we know the Bengals offense is going to be straight. You think at the end of the season, did they show you enough defensively to make you feel like they'll be a top 20 or top 15 defense? Let's say top 15.
Top 15, I can't go that far yet. I can't go that far off of just one game.
Okay.
Say we get these next 2 games, I see a good sample size, I'll be able to say, yeah, they had that ability. But I think they are definitely better than they were last season.
Last year.
I think they're definitely better than they were in the preseason. We heard them saying this thing of we're just not showing everything. I think that that's valid. The fact that they started this off with a +2 in the turnover category, like, I'm in, bro. If the goal is get turnovers, if the goal is keep the points off of the board and get the ball back to the offense, I'm good with, like, that's what the Lou Anarumo defense was. Like, it was bend but don't break. You're going to allow some yardage. And I mean, honestly, when I really look at it, they didn't allow many yards. Like, people are talking about.
They did. But it was all check.
They allowed 400 or 500 yards. Like, that's not what it was. Checkdowns, like you said. It was a lot of
at the end of this joint, I don't know if they're gonna qualify like those swing passes that he was throwing to Sampson. Yeah, but he was cooking up with Fannin. The Njoku had the one early. He had, I would venture out to say he probably had 100 yards of actual drop back, pure passing, throwing 5 yards in beyond that, right? Because remember, the biggest play of the game, I think, was like a 25-yard pass, like late in the game or something like that. The other 150 yards, check downs and little swing passes and stuff. And I think like a real good defense. Well, a real good, like, say you're playing like a Fred Warner or somebody that's getting to it, like, they're cooked. And the other thing is this, they're cooked in that regard with a real linebacker group that would cook that up. That's why I think the Browns will be cooked this whole season. He was checking down for almost 3 quarters. The other thing is this, if the Bengals would have just scored when we were 14-10, if they would have just scored 1 touchdown right there, it would have blew the doors off of them, right? We ain't got to do woulda, coulda, shoulda because we did win the game. But on an average, this is what makes me feel like they're going to be a top 20 defense. If they play like how they just played and the Bengals just give them, remember I said, bro, they're going to score. Remember I said, hey, they're going to score like under 20, maybe 3 or 4 times this season. We got one of them out the way right now. Generally, they'll get a touchdown or so, and then they'll be forcing Flacco to push the ball down the field. All that check down stuff is not happening. And that's what makes me feel like they'll be like a top 20 defense. Not because I think that they're like better than other teams. I just think that the offense is generally going to put them in positions to do so. But that was my final thoughts on it. And,
man, I think we're going to bounce back next week. I mean, the biggest thing, bro, is we kind of came in and we're like, man, the Bengals cannot afford to get off to a slow start. And that's why I'm like, 1-0 mission accomplished. That's why I'm already on to the next game. I know that this staff and everybody's going to look at, because we know how Joe is. Joe's not excited about us winning by 1 point. He knows that the offense needs to play better. Jamar knows that the offense needs to play better. So does T. So does Zach. So I think they'll get it together next week, bro. Like, I wouldn't be surprised if they get it back rolling next week. So the most important thing is that the Bengals are 1-0. And let's move on to the next. Like, it is what, like, if your team didn't win this week, you're not in the winner's circle, my boy. Like, I don't know what to tell you. Like, I don't care how it happens. As long as we are 1-0, that's what matters.
It is what it is. 1-0.
1-0. Speaking of 1-0, you got to go 1-0 with Midwest Best Barbecue.
Now they call T. Higgins, or you say number 5s. Either way, you'll be winning. It's them hot honey lemon peppers. Now they call T. Higgins, or you say number 5s. Either way, you'll be winning. They was them hot honey lemon peppers. Now they call T. Higgins, or you say number 5s. Either way, you'll be winning. And much love to Mama T, Uno and CTB. MB's got Bengals wings, and now we just added T's. Cause 9 to 5 winning things. Gritty for Uno wings. We say yes, Sirski now. Like Aces and be saying that T got them new say number 5s. Either way, you'll be winning. Them high honey lemon peppers. Now they call T. Higgins. Or you say number 5.
That was nice. I ain't gonna lie.
669 Justice Court in Loveland, Ohio. You're 1-0 too if you went to Midwest Best Barbecue this weekend and ordered some of them wings. Make sure you stop in and let them know Ace and Zim sent you. Some of the best food that you can get there. Don't forget they also had a barbecue as well. Award-winning wings. You can also get the Arnold Palmer as well. The mac and cheese on the side. Make sure you stop in there and let them know Ace and Zim sent you. That is going to do it here for the Wincinnati podcast. Please be sure to like, comment, and subscribe. Make sure you listen and download our podcast on any platform that you can get it. Stitcher, Apple Radio, Spotify, all of that. iTunes, wherever you can get it. Also, make sure that you rock with my boy Zim Hude. He got the Hellcat shirts popping off. You can get those at zimhude.com. Make sure you go ahead and cop one of those ASAP, man.
I got a new drop. I'm about to drop today. I don't care. What is the win? Santa Clara Standard. I'm about to drop it right now. Go to zimhude.com. Santa Clara, here I come.
Yes, Sersky. Appreciate y'all. Thank y'all for tuning in.
Coming off on the Wincinnati podcast.
Hello, world. Cincinnati. You guys are the Yoshi creators, bro.
It's a new beginning. You know what that means, right?
But I know this, the whole NFL is scared of the Bengals.